So a lot of people start the message with introduction. And I think that that's a false, not a false, but that's a suboptimal way to market, because they don't care about you until you've given them a reason to care about you or your product. You know, a lot of times we'll see a headline is the name of the product. Mm-hmm. That only works if people are looking for that product.
Right.
They don't know what that is. They don't care.
Welcome to the Marketing for the Culture podcast, powered by the African American Marketing Association. Each week, we'll bring you an insightful conversation from some of the best experts in our industry on how to advance our career. Join the collective of Black marketers across the world advancing their brand as we work towards creating a collaborative community. Hey, good people. Welcome to the Marketing for the Culture, your favorite podcast. Today's special guest is Donnie Bryant, and we're going to talk all things copywriting. Donnie, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm feeling special.
All right. Now I expect a laugh all the way through.
I think that makes for a fun interview, right? If we're having fun. I'm feeling great. So glad to finally be on Marketing for the Culture podcast.
Yes. And we're going to get this right. Inside joke. Tell us about yourself, your experience as a copywriter and all that good jazz.
Okay. This is the part. It's hilarious. I never think about this part, but I've been a copywriter since 2007, and I just passed. I think I've told you this, but everybody doesn't know this. I'm trying to not to brag too much. Just passed $100 million in sales for my clients.
Wow!
Now, I haven't put $100 million in my own pocket now, but my client work, and that's just for the copy that I've written. $100 million as of late September of last year. So celebrating that, and I just like helping businesses get their message out and impact the world in the way that they can and make the money that they deserve. And that's it. I live in the Chicagoland area. And if anybody cares, I'm just about to reach my 20th wedding anniversary. So that's Donnie in a box.
Yeah. Congrats on so many levels. I think that 100 million in sales is a disclaimer that if you don't have your pen and paper ready, you need to get it ready right now. All right.
Right. Going in. Look, and being married for 20 years is harder than making $100 million.
Look, we might have copywriting and relationships. Copywriting and marriage.
It's a two-parter. No, but
it's all
obviously
about persuasion.
It's that. You better believe it. Yeah.
All right. So with copywriting, I think as marketers, there's so much emphasis on content creation. So what's the difference between content marketing? I'm even going to throw SEO in there and copywriting.
It's a great question. And it's one that comes up a lot because you're right. It's kind of fuzzy. The lines are a little bit fuzzy, and copywriters, I think we try to fuzzy it sometimes. Those of us who are sneaky, like you can get copy into content, but the main purpose of content and content marketing and SEO too is primarily education based. You want to demonstrate expertise, establish authority, and then even if you're thinking about it, do what's called demand generation, right? You're trying to help people to see that there's a solution for their problems and then become educated about it and see you as the person who is best suited to provide that solution for them. So there's a problem that they want to get rid of. How do I get rid of this, this backache that I have? Then you got an article or a series of articles or a website or a book, videos, podcasts about getting rid of back pain. So it's primarily about education. And then you hope that you can attract people through SEO or through social sharing. People say, oh, this is a great article. They're not generally sharing direct response copy because nobody does that. But they will share educational, informational, and entertaining content. So that's what you're doing with content primarily. And that's why there's a lot of emphasis around that, because we all know in order to make good choices, you got to have good information. So we want to do that. We want to make sure that everybody knows that we're an authority. So we put out thought leadership in whatever media that is. And that happens a lot. With copywriting, though, the primary goal is the sale. Well, not necessarily sales and money, but we attempt to get the reader to take action. Not just at the end of the article, they feel smarter or better equipped to handle their problem. We want them to, where's my wallet? I got to buy this thing like today. Or I got to sign up for this webinar. I got to sign up for this event or just sign up for this email list so that I can get more information on whatever that back pain problem or what have you. So that's the difference. And so we use, in copy, you use education, but not for the purpose. That's not the end goal. Like we educate you enough to know that you need to buy today. That's the goal. So it's like a nuance, but it is an important difference.
So let's reverse engineer that, because us as the marketer, we want the person to take action. What does the reader want?
Yeah, it's a spectacular question. The reader, let me say this, people only read anything because they think they're going to get something out of it. Like we hate reading books, right? Not you and me personally, but most people really don't like to read books. They don't want to read 1,000-word article on anything unless there's a compelling reason. So they say, I have a problem I need to fix. I have a goal I need to reach. And even if it's, I need to get my degree, so I got to read this stupid book, right? So they have there's some goal that they have. And every niche or demographic or what have you, they have their own kind of core drivers that cause them to take action. So you had to provide them with, you got to figure out what it is that they want. And then that goes back to what you sell and where the thing that you sell overlaps with the thing that your audience needs and wants. So when it comes to reading anyway, they want to get something out of it. So they may be looking for, like if they're reading the funny pages in the newspaper, they just want to laugh. They want to smile. That's content. It's not really copy, but it is content. So, but I go looking for that. I want to laugh today. You go to TikTok to find somebody doing something that's going to make you laugh, right? So there's that. Or like I said, I have a problem. I'm tired of this problem that I have. I'm going to go find somebody who can help me with it. And sometimes it's an article that says, here's how you fix that. And sometimes it's a product that you sell. Here's how you fix it. You just swallow this pill and you'll be good. So there's a problem they want to solve, or there's a goal that they have that they want to reach. So they're looking for something. And with content, it's pretty much like this. With content, you're usually dealing with search intent. They're actively looking for information on or education or entertainment on a particular topic or from a particular person. I want to see what Kevin Hart's saying today, right? Mm-hmm. So there's that. With copywriting, it's not always that way. Sometimes, or a lot of times, I'm direct. I'm sending you an email. You're not looking for an article. With content, they're searching primarily, and then with like direct response marketing, they may not be searching. We're going to try to break into your stream of thought and present you with something that's going to grab your attention, get you interested, and make you want to move down the path towards action. So what it's different. Like what they want, they don't even necessarily know that they want the thing that you're sending them. They kind of do, but they're not in the moment necessarily looking for that. Right? They're probably thinking about whatever they're thinking about, and you interrupt them with your marketing message.
How do we gauge between long form and short form content, right? Because I have a lot of questions that I want to break down later. Okay. But when I think of website, I think of not even long form, because it really depends on the page. Maybe the landing page is long form. But when I think of email, maybe it's shorter. Is there a 50-50 split? Does it depend on the outlet? How do we gauge that?
Yeah, there's so many factors, even within individual components, like emails. I've written emails that are less than 100 words. There's a purpose for that. And I've written emails that are over 1,000 words. weird, but there's a purpose for that. And you kind of have to gauge the situation to know what's appropriate. So let me give you a specific example. I have so many things I could say also, but that's something else that you know about me. That, like, for example, the very short emails. A lot of times you will use a very short email if you're sending somebody to a longer form landing page. I know that the selling is going to take place on the landing page. I don't have to sell you in the email too much. The email's job is just to get you to the thing that I know will sell you. And it could be a video. Cool. I want to send you to this video where you're going to buy something, or like a postcard that you get. It's like, hey, go, you get 50% off at your favorite store today. The copy's short. Go get 50% off by Tuesday, and that's it. But the selling then takes place when you go to the store. Well, it depends on the store, but the copy can be very short if you know that the primary thing is just to get them to move to the next piece. The other factor is the sophistication or like awareness level of the reader. If you know that they know a lot, you may not have to tell them as much, right? You know that we've already had 15 conversations about this topic. So my email to you or the video for you or whatever can be pretty short in many cases, because I don't have to educate you. We don't have to start from the beginning. I'm going to take you from where you are just to whatever the next step is. So that's another factor. Another factor is how big the thing you're asking them to do is. For a really good example here, I have a client. We're doing, the numbers are big. They're big. And we found that when you're giving away a free report, sometimes all you need is like a squeeze page has got one sentence. It's like a headline. Give me your email address. And we couldn't find any way to beat that it took us years to find something that beat that. If the topic of the report is interesting enough. And then also it depends on how we get people to see that squeeze page. So a free report, you can do one line. If you're asking someone to buy a $97 course or a $997 course, you can't give them a headline. You got to go into a longer sales argument. So those are the components, like how big the ask is. If it's something easy, short copy will do in many cases. And then if it's something hard, you got to do longer copy. If people are unaware, a lot of times you have to do more copy. And if they're very aware, you can do less copy. And I don't remember what the first thing I said.
Well, I have so many thoughts, but I kind of feel like the greater the investment, the longer the copy, and possibly the longer the sales cycle.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like
you can break it down, and it's a very accurate way to break it down. So a lot of times you have the long copy can take place over time, over that longer sales cycle. And rather than sending you 10,000 words in one, I could send you 10 1,000 word pieces, like little booklets or whatever. You break it down over the course, or it's an email that sends you to a video. And the videos might have thousands of words, but it's a video. People sit and watch a video for a while. So you can, it does have to be more in total, but it doesn't have to be all in one place. And it doesn't have to be all at one time.
Does your brain switch and be like, okay, I'm only going to inform and educate people? And it's like, okay, now I'm going to sell you.
You know what's weird? I'm going to admit this on camera. I'm a corrupted individual. I'm always thinking about how to sell. So even when it comes down to we got to inform, my starting point is how are we going to get them to the place where we can then sell them? So another example that we're doing right now and making really great progress is like halfway between content and copy. What we're calling advertorials. That's not a new term. Advertorial is but it's half editorial or it's disguised editorial. That's actually an ad. So we're writing articles that are 800 to 1,200 words. Those are a decent sized article. But the entire thing is a sales argument disguised as a news article. So then when you get to the bottom, it's like, you want more information, put your email address in here and we'll send you more information. And it's working really well for the purposes that we're using it. I'm not the only person doing that. There's hundreds of people doing that. But then it is content, but it's also copy. So we're not asking the editorial team to write these things. We don't trust them. Right. You stick to writing the informational stuff. When it comes to marketing, sales, that's where we come in. So I'm actually working. One of the things I was working on when we got on this call is a piece like that. It's going to end up being about 1,000 words, maybe a little bit more. And at the end, it's sign up for a trial of a particular subscription. So yeah, I'm always, my brain doesn't switch. I only got one gear, which is sell.
What are some factors that, if we're writing our own copy, that's going to allow us to stand out amongst the crowd?
I'm so glad that you asked that question, because it's really hard, right? It's ridiculously hard. And I think that a lot of people make two mistakes. They assume that people are going to look because they kind of feel like I deserve an audience. I put something on Facebook. It's your job to come and look and like and comment. And why didn't you do it? How come nobody commented? I put something on Facebook today. I thought I was going to get plenty. It's nothing. Guess what? They don't owe me that. It just wasn't interesting enough. And Facebook hates me. But so it's not just about having something to say, because nobody owes you attention. You had to earn it. So there's that. And then I think some people also think that just being different is enough to get attention. And that's not necessarily true either, because if it's not relevant, nobody cares. If it's not interesting, nobody cares. It's different, but it doesn't really matter. The way that I have found, and the way that I advise people to get attention, is to find out what people really want. So going back to the conversation we had earlier, what do people want? I have terrible back pain and I need to fix that. Well, you know how you get their attention is you talk about back pain. They're already thinking about that. But then you have to bring something that they haven't seen before that makes them stop and say, I need to know about this. Because if they think that they know what you're going to say, they won't give you any attention. They want to see something that's unique, something that's new, something that has, like, you can use, pick somebody. President Obama's back pain secret. You never seen him limping, have you? You don't. He's got grace. He's way older than you, but he looks so much better than you, right? What's his secret? And I could probably sell the heck out of that. Click. Right. So it's like President Obama will get a lot of people's attention and many for bad reasons, because some people really are not fans. They'll read it because they want to be angry. And then there's a lot of people who will read it because like, oh, what is President Obama about? Michelle's even better. There's nobody who doesn't like Michelle Obama on earth. So, Michelle Obama's anything secret, you're going to get their attention because people just pay attention to those things. So again, that goes back. They're interested already in their own problems, their own dreams and desires, those things that frustrate them. And then, the interesting people. Kanye West gets attention all the time. Anything you put with Donald Trump in it will get attention. It just does. Well, I think that's fading now. Thank God.
Yeah, but there's something there. I think from a content marketer point of view, it's when you have people creating content based off of trending topics, not necessarily, in this case, not necessarily clickbait, but yeah, what is it?
Yeah, absolutely. The trending topic is a great hack because people are already there. They're thinking about that. But then again, that's where you come back and say something that hasn't already been said. Because I've heard that one before, or I've seen that meme already before. Sometimes we look at them because we think it's funny. But if you want a better chance of standing out, you can attach yourself to something where there's already emotional momentum. Mm. Everybody's mad about this thing. Talk about it. Everybody's excited about this thing, like Janet Jackson right now. Depending on when people watch this or listen to this podcast, Janet Jackson is all over the place. So if you talk about Janet, people are going to pay attention. But you got to say something different than, I like Janet Jackson. Nobody cares about that. And that we all do. But if you have something unique to say, then they're paying attention. And that's the sort of thing that also then they'll share with other people. So you get the social sharing aspect from that. So it's a great point. Just attach yourself to attach your message as a unique angle or behind the scenes, a hidden aspect of a topic that's trending. What nobody's telling you about, the Janet Jackson documentary. What they didn't show. Yeah. All day.
Are y'all picking up on these headline secrets? Like, you got to listen. I caught that one.
That one's going to work. And if you add a little bit, even more specificity, I didn't actually watch it, so I'm shame on me. But if you say, remember that one part where this happened, that's not the whole story. They're in it. I was like, what did I miss? What? You also see, this is off topic, but you see these like BuzzFeed things, or they're in your little ads at the bottom, and it'll show you a regular picture, like your toe. It'll show somebody's toenail. And then there's a circle. You remember these? There's a red circle. Like, if you have this, you might be on the verge of having a heart attack. There's nothing in that picture. There's nothing in that picture that's abnormal. But the fact that there's a circle, you say, oh, there must be something there. And it kind of looks like my toe. So I need to look. I need to click this article and find out if I'm close to having a heart attack. Eventually, you kind of like learn all these things are clickbait. But the angle is the same. Like, you're pointing out something specific and making people say, I want to know that particular thing. I don't want to have a heart attack. Now, if you're 20 years old, you don't care about that. There's not a heart attack in sight. You don't worry about that. But, for someone who's 50 plus or whatever, or they already have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and they're like, yee. And that I might be right there. So yeah, that's you stand out by attaching yourself to something that already has some emotional momentum or cultural momentum behind.
I love it. So does scarcity really work? And if so, when do we use it?
I wish I could say it didn't, but it does. It's a little depressing how well it works. It's not depressing for a marketer, because if you can you can add scarcity to whatever you're doing. And it comes in several different forms, right? But if you can add some element of scarcity, it will help you sell more, help you get more butts in seats. I got 100 seats here. You're already a little bit more interested. I got, what's this small event, I got to be at. If there's an unlimited supply, it's like, I just pick it up next week, pick it up next month. I'll pick it up when I get my tax refund or whatever. Then, so having scarcity does, but it really does work. And I think that I would just say to use scarcity whenever you can legitimately do it. Like, don't lie and say, I only got 99 copies of this PDF. You're a liar. Nobody believes you. And even if nobody catches you or calls you out, you're a jerk for that. Like, it's just not a good move. I saw this guy one time. This is probably 10 years ago. He had a PDF. Oh man. It was like something about the Bible. It said, retail price $9.97. You can have it for free. That's not scarcity. That's stupidity, right? Like, first of all, I got the whole Bible for less than $9.97. Right? You can get the study Bible. You can get the audio Bible. You can do the one with Morgan Freeman and Denzel Washington. You can do all of that for $100. You don't need to pay it. And then I'm going to give it to you for free. I don't believe there's not many PDFs. There's maybe a few, not many PDFs on earth that are worth $1,000. And if they were, why are you giving it away for free? So that's trickery. People are up to funny business like that. But I just suggest, if you can, like, I say it all the time, because people don't think to add it. Like, I'm only taking on 4 clients this month. Say that, because people want to know. And people also need to know, if I don't do this now, I could miss. And so if you don't say it and just assume people will understand, they must know I can only work with a limited number of people. They don't know that. And they're not thinking about that. So you remind them, I only have this many slots. I only have this many books in stock. If specific numbers help. Countdown timers, it's ridiculous. Boost response. I've never seen an instance where it doesn't. Well, that's not true. If you have if it's like 21 days, counting down in 21 days, unless it's like an event. So if you come to the marketing for the culture, event, that countdown clock will matter. But if it's, we're going to have 50% off sale for the next 27 days, I'm good on that. I'm going to get 2 paychecks between now and then, maybe 3, depending on what day it is. And I don't even have to think about that right now. And they'll never see it again. But when you're counting down, getting close to the end, a countdown timer in an email or on a landing page works really well. And then this is going to sound, it's a little bit evil, but people will put countdown timers. And if you hit refresh on the page, it just starts at the top of the thing again. So it's totally fake. There's no reason for there to be a timer. But people put a timer there because they know if you feel like you only got 15 seconds to fill out this form, they do it. It's really dumb. So it depends on your moral positioning on tricking people, but it does work. And I say this just to even out my claims of evilness. If you really believe that what you're selling is going to help people, and they have to make a decision in order to get the breakthrough in their life that they need, you may resort to tricks that other people think are unsavory, but you're doing it for the right reason. You really want to help people. I know if you don't see this, I know if you don't sign up today, you probably won't see this page. And if you don't see the page, you won't attend this event that's going to change your life, or you won't buy this book that's going to give you the secrets to whatever you need to get. And so sometimes you go to great lengths just to get people to do it, because you're doing it for their good, for your good also, because hopefully you're going to make money from it. But it's important to keep in mind, if you're a moral person, you're not tricking them to do them wrong. You're just pulling out as many weapons as you can to obliterate the obstacle between them and the result that they want.
You have me thinking. You have me thinking. That thinking meme of the man that's in my head right now. Okay, a lot of good stuff.
We should have you be the next thinking meme. That would be great.
Well, I'm thinking about just the scarcity. I like what you said. Like, you're only working with 4 clients this month, right? That's something I've never considered, or I never put it out there.
Reason all by itself for somebody to hire you. Like, if they think they're going to do it later, I'm cutting you off. But a lot of times, like, that's a reason to reach out to people also.
Yeah,
I'm only going to have 4 people this month. If you want a chance, if you want any chance, we're going to have to talk this week. So just hit me up. And that could be a whole email or text, however you reach out to people on LinkedIn, whatever. Just letting you know, I'll be at my limit. I bet I'll be at my limit by Friday. So if you want in on this, hit me up. And just by itself is a reason. You don't even have to have any other reason for them to call you, except time's running out, availability's running out.
Yeah.
You're going to miss out. Fear of missing out is a real thing.
Yeah. And then I should put the Bath and Body Works example somewhere in that email.
Yeah.
Don't let this happen to you. I'm only taking 4 clients this month.
It's real. Don't let it happen to you.
The end.
Yeah.
Okay. I know, once again, as a content marketer, there's so much emphasis on repurposing content. Does that apply with copywriting? Like, because I know there's a lot of moving parts, especially with product launches.
Yeah.
So are you able to repurpose your content and stuff like that?
Yeah. If you've done it right, there's no reason to do anything except repurpose it. Okay. Like I could tell you many examples, but in copywriting, in direct response, the what do you call it? The big prize, the thing that everybody wants, is a control, what we call a control, a piece of copy that you can put someplace and it works for years. So, for example, I wrote a video sales letter in 2018. It's for a newsletter. And we didn't have to, once we got it dialed in, we didn't change it for 2 years at all. We just sent traffic to it. Wherever we could find traffic, we're sending traffic to it. And we didn't change anything for 2 years until they found something that did better. And that's the goal. So, I mean, that's not even really repurposing. That's just continuing to use. But you can use emails that worked before. You might as well. Like, if you know that it works, you can use it again. And you can even send it to the same list more than once. You can repurpose everything. I've found if something works really well, you should absolutely do make as much effort as you can to repurpose those things that work in different ways, and especially in different places. Because if you find a new audience where haven't been exposed to that copy yet, you got a whole new market to allow that piece of marketing to work on. And then you just watch your results. If you're paying attention to how well it works, you'll find certain pockets where things may work or may not work. You just keep using them where it works, and using them over and over again, or variations on the same thing, until it doesn't work anymore. So repurposing, and I call it stealing from myself. I'm ripping my own copy off to use it again because I know that it works. Why try to come up with something else? I know that this works.
Is there a framework or some practical tips Well, I feel conflicted in this question, right? Because I'm like, is there a general framework that can be applied to email, to the website? Okay, share.
Yeah. Well, there's like a lot of frameworks. Everybody has their own. So for one of the common ones that people use is AIDA, right? Attention, interest, desire, action. So that's very common, and people will use that for even a face-to-face sales conversation. You got to get the attention, you got to get them interested, build desire, ask for them to take action. So that's one. Another one is problem, agitate, solution. So you bring up a pain point, you make them see how bad that pain is or how much worse it can get if they don't fix it. And then you show them a solution and ask them to take action. My framework, which I haven't trademarked and I should.
So we're not going to get it.
No, I've been giving it. I'm just hoping that nobody steals trademarks in it from under my nose. And it's not like it's super unique, but it's just my way of thinking about things. And I use it for everything. And so it works and pretty much everywhere. The way that I think about it, it does. So I call it the 4I formula. The first step is instigate. So by instigate, I just mean to say something that's going to get somebody riled up in some way, in a good way or a bad way. So you get their heart pumping. Talk about some big problem that's coming, or you can talk about a big dream that's now possible. You can talk about a brand new discovery that people are going crazy for. You can talk about Janet Jackson's hidden whatever thing we're talking about. It's getting people excited. So that's kind of like the attention component. I call it instigating because it's flexible. And I think when people say get attention, this is like targeted attention. You're trying to have an emotional response and intellectual engagement on whatever you're talking about. So that's a lot of gobbledygook, but I call it instigation. And the next step, and this is why I love my framework, because I don't think people talk about this enough. But the second step is introduction. So a lot of people start the message with introduction. And I think that's a false, not a false, but that's a suboptimal way to market, because they don't care about you until you've given them a reason to care about you or your product. A lot of times we'll see a headline is the name of the product. Mm-hmm. That only works if people are looking for that product.
Right.
They don't know what that is. They don't care. But, for mass market products, and that's part of the problem. We look at Super Bowl ads and assume we can do the same thing, but we can't. We don't have their budgets. We don't have their market share, their brand awareness, and we don't have enough time for all those things to happen before we got to pay our light bills. So I put in introduction as second. Introduction isn't always introducing yourself. It could be introducing your product. It could be introducing the existence of a solution to the problem. Like they may just be your back hurts, right? You can't do anything the way that you did when you're 20. And this really is horrible. And it's widespread. Everybody in America seems to have it. But it doesn't have to be that way. Look at President Obama, how good he looks. Like, I'm just going back to what I said before. But okay, there is a solution. There is a life without back pain. I don't know what it is yet, but that part of the message is an introduction of the solution. It could be an introduction of the severity of the problem too. So it just depends on, it's expanding. Basically, in the first part, you get their attention and you get them emotionally engaged in what you're talking about. I need to know what you're talking about. And then you expand with the introduction. You show them something that they don't know. And then I have what I call indoctrination, which sounds like I'm doing evil things to people. But this is where, this isn't always super developed. It depends on how long your copy is. But this is where you add the information. It's really like painting a picture of what the world could be like, what the world should be like, and what the world is like when the person who's reading, like if they did what you told them to do, then they would have a whole new way of living or a whole new way of doing whatever it is that you're talking about. They won't be plagued by the problems. They won't, be stunted in their growth. They're going to have whatever it is that you're talking about. So it's just basically like, you can, if you don't like indoctrinate, you can also use inform. So just adding additional information that helps them see the world the way that you see it and kind of see themselves in it, or at least see themselves being able to experience that. So you do all those things. And then the fourth I is invitation. So that's basically where you tell them how to take action on those things, how to get the thing that you're telling them about and having them envision. That's my formula.
I love it. I love it.
Don't steal it.
I'm not.
You can use it. But
it's like you have to. I like how you do have instigate first because you need to hook them in.
Yeah.
And that's one of the fundamental rules when they talk about YouTube videos.
Yeah. Right.
Do the 5 to 15 second hook, and then you introduce yourself.
Right.
And why you should listen to me.
Right. Because we all know you click on a video and I didn't mean to do that, and you back out of it. But if you got a good hook in 5 seconds, maybe I'll stick around for a second,
Right.
So you got to do that. And then even if somebody's interested and they think they're interested, if they take too long getting to the point, I'll find somebody else who's doing this. So you got to hook them right in the beginning. And I don't think enough people think about that. I don't know how it came to pass where we think we have to introduce ourselves and our business and our background and then tell people what's in it for them. Because going back to my previous point, the only reason anybody reads anything is because they think they're going to get something out of it. If you're talking about you, I'm not going to be interested for very long. You need to talk about me.
I know when I write, I do a lot of did you know? And I have some kind of stat.
Yeah.
But listening to you, I'm like, maybe I need to explore that instigation process a little bit more.
If it's a good stat, or like I like shocking statistics, I even tell people sometimes this is a shocking statistic because they may not know. If you said the United States government has printed $40 trillion, that's a made up number. I don't know what it is. It's probably in the trillions though. Made $40 trillion. You're like, oh, so like, what does that mean? Well, if you think about it, in the history of the United States, we've only printed $50 trillion, and $40 trillion come in the last 2 years. What does that mean? Things are out of whack. That's why you go to the store and eggs cost $7 for a carton of eggs. And you could get them for $1.19 last week. So you put it in context. Tell them how. Just you got to frame it for them. Sometimes, I don't assume that anybody knows anything. So you write in a way where you're kind of guiding them to the reaction you want them to have.
I need to work on that because I definitely suffer from the curse of knowledge, and I don't always know how to simplify things.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how can you not know this?
Right. And I know even from what I just said, it's hilarious because with the curse of knowledge, you don't even realize how often you miss it. we use terms and like, what do you mean you don't know, what a USP is? How do you? No, it's not a delivery service that's competing with FedEx. It's not that. But you just assume because you use it so commonly, and the people that you like the best, probably, other than your parents, are also using the same kind of words.
Yeah.
I think Did You Know, by the way, though, is a good tool, though. Because then I don't know, did I? If you were sending to people who kind of already know you, then they're like, Michelle's only going to give me good stuff. Mm-hmm. You got to keep in mind, if the people are talking to know you, you can talk to them in a different way. Michelle going to tell me something good. Did I know? I don't know if I know, but I know I want to find out if I know. If I can say that.
Yeah.
And then you hit them with the big statistic, and then you tell them how it means or what the impact is, what the implications are. And then they're in.
Well, maybe that could be a signature move.
Yeah.
No, and provide the shocking stats.
Yeah. I like it.
Okay. So I want to talk about money.
I love talking about money.
So one, how do I know I need to hire a copywriter?
It's a great question. What's interesting? A lot of people, entrepreneurs, business owners, or whatever, could write their own copy at a high level and just be very good at it. You need to need to hire a copywriter when you don't feel like nobody can communicate your business as well as you can when you're in your flow. It may not be in writing because not everybody feels good about writing. But if you were sitting down and just talking with a friend about your business, you're eloquent, you're passionate, you know the ins and outs, and you really know why you probably know why people are engaging with. Sometimes it takes a salesperson who works on your sales team. If you have a sales team, they know the questions that people have. So they may know a little bit, some of the nuances that the owner doesn't know. But fundamentally, the owner is probably the best communicator or the best capable communicator about the thing. But if you're not confident writing, you got to get somebody else to do it for you. If you don't mind writing, but you just feel like you can't convey those ideas the way that you want to in writing, it might be time to get somebody else. And sometimes you don't even have to hire somebody, but you could just have conversation with somebody and say, can you look at this copy and tell me how you feel? And it could be someone on your own team, or it could be someone like a friend who is in the industry. How would you respond to this? What would you need to see that you haven't seen? But I think a bigger percentage of the time, it's just as a CEO of your business, you have other things to do. So if like the highest and best use of your time is closing deals with corporations, you may not have time to write emails, right? You bring somebody on who can write emails on your team, or if you're going to hire a freelancer or a contractor, then you focus on the things that only you can do, because you can find someone to write. You can find somebody to create content for you in whatever media you like. But there's some things that only you can do. And so a lot of times CEOs are in that place. Like it just makes sense for you to leverage your time better, you doing those things that only you can do, and hiring somebody else to do all the other things, which includes writing copy. There's a lot of people who just they hate writing. I'd also encourage, if you hate it, if it takes joy out of your day, you might think about outsourcing that, because you don't want to have a foul attitude. Or I know another guy who's a fantastic writer. He's doing multi-millions on his software platform. He's a spectacular writer. Every time I see his copy, I'm like, man, that was really good. He's like, yeah, but it took me 6 hours to write this. It doesn't fit into my CEO calendar or my schedule. So he's outsourced. I think that's what you have to do. So it's balancing those things. If you feel like you can do really well and you have the time to do it, then you might not need anybody else. But if you feel you don't feel confident in your own ability to do it, or you know that it takes too much time for you to do it, even if you could do it well, and it makes sense to find somebody else. It could be on your team, it could be a contractor, but find somebody else who can do it for you. And then I'll just caution you, when you hire a copywriter, a lot of times it just takes them a little while to get acclimated to your business. So if they don't, the first thing that they send you, you don't love it, don't freak out. Yeah. Because it just takes anybody a second to when you get a new hire, the person who's your cashier takes a second to learn the POS system or whatever. So you take a little bit of time, invest a little bit of time in forming a connection, helping them to get to know your business, get to know you, get to know your market. Otherwise, you're starting all over again with someone who's going to do the same thing to you.
Yeah, that's honest. That's honest. I think, we have to give people grace, even if they are an expert and skilled in their craft.
Yeah.
Now, what systems did you have in place to know that you hit the 100 million mark?
I have. See, the fortunate part about what I do is in direct response, we measure everything so that we can, like we were talking about repurposing, we got to know it works so we can repurpose. We got to know where it works so we can use it where it works and don't use it where it doesn't. So most of the projects that I've worked on, so I probably made more than that, but I can go back and count on those things that we've been tracking. So I've been keeping track for years. Just, okay, we made $6 million in this month. We made not a whole lot of $6 million months, but we're doing big numbers now, but so just tracking over time and keeping track. So it's built into your customer relationship management program in most cases. So I have Excel files and all that stuff containing that information. So it just depends on what you're using to track sales in your business. And because of my position as a copywriter, I negotiate for that. Not negotiate, but it's like part of me doing my job requires me to have data. So I don't have to necessarily know your bank account number and social security number, but I do need to know open rates on emails, click rates. I need to know conversion rates on sales pages. I need to know revenue generated. I need to know all those things. So that's enabled me to keep track of those numbers.
So do you get paid, I guess, what are some of your payment options, like project, retainer, percentage, residual?
Yeah, all of those.
Okay.
Depending on the client and the project.
Right,
Some projects I it's like I need to get my money now because I can't trust this person to pay me later, right? And some things is like, if you don't pay me now, but I trust you to pay me later, it could be so much bigger for doing a percentage, like a rev share. So it could be any of those things, and any of those things is valuable. But from a perspective of a copywriter, explore all those options. From the perspective of a business who's hiring a copywriter, do the same thing. If you find that you determine what you think the value of the project is going to be. If we do this right, it's $1 million project. What percentage of that makes sense to pay out, right? And then you figure it out. If it makes more sense to pay it in a lump sum, or you want someone to have skin in the game so that they'll do their best and they'll stick around or whatever. You just got to explore all those things. Don't automatically shut options out until you've explored them. And then once you get to know your business and how working with different people is, in many cases, you'll arrive at something that, like, this really works for me. I just like to pay royalties, or I just like to pay retainers. I like my wife likes retainers.
Yeah.
She already knows where the money's going. She knows where April's money is going, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And at least I know, as long as you don't die in a car crash, that in April, this money is coming on this day and it's going to go to this particular place. So retainers are really great for stability. And then also for the entrepreneur, if I know I got your attention for a month, and you probably should determine in advance how much work that entails. But you also have confidence that we're going to be able to get this project done, and you can think in advance that way. So any of those things has advantages and disadvantages. You just got to explore what works for you and your business.
I know we've covered a lot. I'm already ready for part 2.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So we're definitely going to be bringing you back. I want you to share one more thing, your YouTube videos. Or not.
Yeah. Okay. So for the last, my goal was, here's what I'm doing. Let me start there. What I'm doing currently, and will be done soon, praise the Lord, but I'm doing what I call subject line of the day. So I have I've written thousands. I don't know. I haven't counted how many emails I've written or how many subject lines I've written, but thousands of subject lines. And because we're testing again, I know which ones are working in opens. I know which ones are. It's so weird because you can have 2 different subject lines. I'm going off topic already, but we've tested emails where everything is exactly the same except you're split testing the subject line. And the natural thought or assumption would be that the open rate will be different, but everything else will be more or less the same. Once somebody's inside the email, once they've opened the email, everybody's going to click at the same rate. But it's not true. You'll find that subject lines not only impact open rates, but they impact click rates. And shockingly, this is shocking. It's not a statistic, but it's a shocking statement or discovery. It also can impact conversion once they get to the landing page. I have statistics. It'll blow your mind. It's hard to predict in advance. So I can't give you like a prescription on what to do there, but just know that everything impacts the next thing. So I've got a lot of subject lines, and I've put together 100, and I'm trying to give some variety, some interesting subject lines that a lot of people, depending on what your business is, you may not have seen anything like this. Your emails are always how to remove a lug nut from a 16-inch Ford rim, whatever. Something, it's like, cool. That's cool. For the right person, that's a good subject line. But I got, homeless folk need Netflix too. That's my subject line, right? Because you say, what in the world is he talking about? So they're YouTube shorts. They're a minute at most. Some of them are 15 seconds. So they're between 15 seconds and 60. I've been talking for a long time. 15 seconds and 60 seconds, where I break down subject lines that have worked spectacularly and that hopefully expand your thinking as well. And then I give you a little bit of background, psychology, tactics behind them, and then hope that you can use them for your own business. And yeah, like I said, I'm doing 100. I plan to do 100 in 100 days. It's going to take me 109 days or something like that. As long as everything goes smoothly. I don't have them all recorded yet. 109 days to get 100 done, but it's been fun. And not enough people have watched them, but but the people who have, I've gotten some really great feedback. And check this out. I hope that the person who sent me this email isn't watching this, but I've gotten money. Somebody says, I've been watching your videos. They're great. Let me hire you. So YouTube works if you work.
Yeah. And on that note, mic drop.
Boom.
I love it. I love it. Just a lot of nuggets. It's just so much to uncover. And I know there's a lot more we can talk about if we get into specific channels or even platforms. So you'll definitely be back and we'll work that out. How can people find you and all that other good stuff?
Please watch my YouTube videos.
We will have the link in the show.
Listen, I'm laughing, but I'm very serious. No, for me, there's a few different things. My website is Donnie-Bryant.com. There's content there. I have like 300 articles, which are about copywriting. I think some of them will be very helpful for you. I don't update it all the time, but if you go to that site, you can sign up for my newsletter. And my newsletter is where I give most of my breaking thoughts, like my most current thoughts and insights. And I have fun, and that's really where I share a lot of my best content. So I advise you to do that. On social, I don't do a ton on social media except in the Facebook group. I have email copywriting corner. So all I had to do, the link will be in the description, but if you went to Facebook and just type in the search email copywriting, and it's like the first group that pops up. It's fun. I don't spend a ton of time in there anymore either. I used to spend a lot, but I don't have enough time in it anymore. But there's a ton of great content in there, and we have a lot of fun. And you can ask questions and get feedback. That's fun. And then YouTube, if you just Google me. But that's the cool thing. If you Google Donnie Bryant, there's me and some dentists in Arkansas, and that's it. So I'm the black one.
And there you have it. Donnie, thanks for being on Marketing for the Culture. Thanks for sharing your knowledge. Definitely appreciate it.
Man, it's my pleasure. This has been a lot of fun, and I look forward to round 2.
All right. Peace and blessings, everyone. Thank you for listening to Marketing for the Culture podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe, whether it's on Apple, Google, Spotify, or your favorite podcast platform. And of course, our videos are on YouTube. If you have a moment, feel free to give us a rate, review, or just comment. We appreciate our sponsors for their continuous support. Also, if you're interested in learning more about our sponsors or becoming a member of the African American Marketing Association, visit aa-ma.org.